So glad you're here. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm back in the kitchen again. I'm gonna make my second and final meal for the day, and I just thought I'd bring you guys in for, I guess, part two of the egg fast. I'll always start by introducing myself. I am Maggie, the substitute teacher, and here I am sharing my health and wellness journey. So far down 70 pounds with at least 30 more to go. I've completely changed the way that I eat because of the results of my food sensitivity test. And that was a cheek swab and some hair samples. And so I have a list of foods that I can have and a list of foods that I can't have. So usually on my channel, I show you guys, whatever I'm eating. But I am doing the egg fast today, and I know some people have had questions about it. I do this once a week. This is something that my metabolic specialist, offered or recommended. It's completely optional. But on an egg fast, it's a good way to kind of kickstart your metabolism. When the scale kind of plateaus, or for a variety of reasons, I'll share with you guys. So on the egg fast, basically for one day, all you eat are eggs and either apples or strawberries. So I'm out of apples. I need to place another order, so I'm doing eggs and strawberries today. So one of the reasons why you might want to do the egg fast is if you again have hit a plateau. And I've shared with you all that I do weigh every day. Just to kind of, get myself used to the number on the scale. I am approaching a major milestone for me, and you'll be hearing more about that soon. So I'm trying to be really strict for the month of March because I've got some travel plans in April. Speaking of travel plans, so for example, if there's a holiday coming up like Thanksgiving or whatever, and I want to enjoy that day, which I do allow myself to enjoy, that's why this is year 3 for me. But I'm being consistent, and you guys are here to help keep me accountable. I will do an egg fast before, and then on the day, I'll enjoy whatever the celebration is, and then I'll do an egg fast after, just to make sure that, I don't go back, in the wrong direction. One of the things that I've noticed about myself weighing every day, I would like for the number to just kind of slowly go down, even if it's like, a half a pound, every time I weigh, but it's not. I'll hold on to a plateau and then I'll drop a little bit, and then hold on to a plateau and then drop a little bit. So, hey, there's pros and cons to doing it. Some people only weigh once a month. That's fine. They just use their clothes and the way their clothes fit. That's an exciting for me. I'm no longer shopping in plus size, so I can just buy regular, like, any store extra large, which is great. I'm trying to get down to a large. I'm 5'7", so I'm not petite, but I definitely don't want to be plus size anymore because I want to age gracefully. Hello, Veggie. So good to see you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because once again, I'm hungry. So earlier today, if you guys were on, I did some fried eggs. I'm going to do the French omelet, just feeling a little fancy. The French omelet is, hey CK. Yeah, you know what? I guess we could look at inches, I don't count carbs or calories. I just weigh on the scale. And I've shared with you guys my journey, how I used to have a lot of joint pain and all my numbers were starting to go in the wrong direction. But yeah, I guess inches are important too. All right, so this morning I made fried eggs. I'm going to do a French omelet now just because I want to, have something a little bit fancy. The French omelet is basically, just the technique. It's really just eggs and butter. And you guys know, part of my test results showed that I'm sensitive to cow dairy. So you already know that I've switched to goat's butter. So that's what I'm going to be using. Clean my hands. All right. So I have the large skillet. I have the large skillet. Hey, Amethyst is on. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming on. Okay. So I'm going to use, this is the medium skillet, maybe about the size of my head. So what you need for a French omelet, I've done it before, but this is a technique to cook very quickly over high heat, and you're going to kind of whip the omelet really fast, and you get some nice like curdles on the inside that kind of resemble like having cheese in the omelet. I'm not going to use cheese today, so on my egg fast, I don't have, well, I can't have dairy anyway, but no goat's cheese, nothing like that. So I'm just going to do eggs and a little bit of butter to get started. All right. So let's see. I have again my glass gravy boat. You know, I love my glass gravy boat because for me it's just easy to pour. And then the one tool that I'm using, I love using a chopstick because it doesn't stick. Speaking of that, when you're making a French omelet, y'all, my pan looks horrendous, but I just use it all the time. You really want to try and get the smoothest pan you can because these little scratches here, will make it hard. It'll make it stick. So if you can have a very smooth non-stick pan, you'll do much better with a French omelet. So I guess the difference, the French omelet, you'll see that it's going to be yellow in color. It doesn't brown because you don't want the butter to get too hot. Kind of like an American omelet will have kind of the brown. You cook the egg solid, put the filling inside, and then you just kind of fold it over itself like a blanket or a towel. For the French omelet, we're going to let the bottom set, but then the top will still be kind of jiggly, and we're going to roll it into itself, and then it will continue to cook. So CK has a question. Hey, God's girl, let's see what CK says. Okay, Maggie. So the sensitivity test, was that something you bought and did at home, or did I go to the doctor? Great question. Okay, so here's the story. Long story short, I went to a metabolic specialist and I still see her. Actually, I think I'm going Tuesday for a little checkup. For me, I know that I need the support and I know that I need the community. And you guys are actually part of my community, help keep me accountable because I'm like, well, if I'm telling everybody I'm doing this, better do it, right? But you know, the story goes as this, you know, growing up, I was always plus size. I carried around this extra weight. You know, now I'm 46. So as we get older, you know, the weight that you carry around starts to turn into health issues. But, you know, bottom line, I tried all of the diets, right? Weight Watchers, Nutrisystem, and, you know, they work as long as you eat that food. And then when you come off of it, you are, you know, unfortunately sometimes putting back on the weight and then extra. So I've been up and down all my life. I come from a family of very normal sized people, and so I was the only one that was kind of like a big girl, or so I thought. And you know, my parents meant well, but they put me on diets. And, you know, growing up as a kid, you know, eating with the family, hey, cook, you know, I was raised to cook and we ate dinner together as the family. That's just the structure that I had, and I'm thankful for that. But, you know, my mom, my dad, and my brother would have regular food, and then my plate would always be different, right? I would have like broccoli, boiled chicken breast. It was just very bland. And so, you know, you just kind of grow up kind of resenting that. And like we all do when we get out on our own, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to eat whatever I want. And so the weight just started to go on. Get married, have two kids, get divorced. Just life happens, right? And so long story short, you know, I love to travel. And I went to Australia. I hurt my knee. And it was just one of those things where it just didn't heal all the way right. You know, it's like I was always the one like limping around, and I didn't like that. I'm like, I'm older, but I'm not old, and I just hate like having to, you know, be in pain and taking pain pills. But I just kind of chalked it up to I'm getting older. This is just what happens as we age, right? Not so much. So I said this was the short version. It's not, but you know, I never know who's watching this for the first time, so bear with me. So I'm so grateful now I work from home, but I used to work in corporate America and was in the office, and I saw a woman, an older woman, a friend of mine, who usually kind of like a plain Jane, but she was, you know, she had lost weight. And you know, you never just want to intrude and ask somebody, you know, you've lost weight, what are you doing? Because you never know, it could be health issues, it could be anything. So one day she got all dressed up and put on a dress and some heels, and I was like, now is my shot, right? So I went up to her and I was like, hey, you look amazing. You know, what are you doing? And she told me that she went to get her gut health checked. And I had never heard that before, right? I've heard of all the different diets. I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Maybe I'll try that. And so anyway, she's the one who referred me to the metabolic specialist. So I went to the metabolic specialist. Veggie, thank you. That means so much because, sometimes I feel like I'm coming back to the story, y'all. Sometimes I feel like, okay, this is lame, like everybody knows it. And then sometimes I feel like, well, someone had to, tell me and teach me. So this is how I pay it forward. Okay, so she referred me to the metabolic specialist, and I went. And all these years of thinking I'm big boned and plus size, the metabolic specialist took one look at me and she's like, "You're not really that big. You just have a lot of inflammation." And after all those years of thinking I'm a big girl, I had never heard that, right? I'm like, inflammation, what the heck is that? So she started to talk to me, and when she looked at me, like my hands and my wrists, and if you guys see on my Instagram, I post some full length pictures, like my leg, I carry my weight in the middle, here, but I do have like slim, legs. And anyway, what she said is, you have a lot of inflammation. And what I learned is, and you guys may have heard this before, there are some foods that we eat that your body just burns through. And, like a kid, you're running like a race car. I forget the analogy. And then we all know there are some foods that you eat and you just feel like, why did I do that? And your body's running like a dump truck. And she ended up doing the test in her office, and I took a video. I'll make another video of the test because I've been tested 3 times. Once, this is year 3. So every year I test, and interestingly enough, foods have started to fall off the list because, like I always say, it's not the foods that you eat from time to time. It's the foods that you eat all the time. Okay, so my test results here. But basically, what she did is she did a cheek swab. So she had this long, like Q-tip looking thing, open your mouth, and then they swab on the inside of your cheek and then put it in like a little tube and send it off somewhere. And then she did cut some hair samples from the back, not a lot, but just like baby locks of hair, to find out what is in your system that's kind of like hanging around, that's not being like metabolized properly. Hey, Tanya, come on in. So good to see you. So I did this food sensitivity test in her office. And so she was like, I'll have the results back in about a week and I'll give you a call. And we'll go through your results. So now I'm just like, y'all, I'm just like you. For the first 43 years, I ate fast food. I ate, pasta. I ate rice. I ate, sweets. Whatever I wanted, I ate. Clearly, and too much of it, because I enjoy food. I mean, you guys see me, even when I eat my food here, I'm kind of like, ooh, I get excited about it. I know some people, it's just like food is just nutrition and they could take it or leave it. For me, it's a sensory experience. I get very excited. So anyway, a week goes by and the metabolic specialist, she calls me and she's like, I've got your results. And I'm like, oh boy, what's happening? So here's what happened. She sent me a printout. This is my most recent one. I've done it, like I said, 3 times. And I printed, this is black and white, but literally it was like a list of foods. And it had like traffic light, like, green wasn't colored, but like yellow was mildly or moderately sensitive. And then if it was red, it was severely, sensitive. Y'all, when I got these results back, it was stuff that I eat all of the time. Chicken, dairy, grains, citrus, coffee. It was just so shocking and sad. I can't even remember. There was so much stuff on this list. So then I was like, what the heck am I supposed to eat? That's where the substitutions came from. So, like I said, I had been eating all this food that my body takes longer to process, and it was just hanging around. And then you get inflammation because your body's trying to digest it. You swell up, you have joint pain. A lot of us who suffer with eczema, allergies, a lot of this stuff is because of the food that we eat. I had no idea. And I'm not here to preach to you. All of the recipes that I make here are basically substitutions from stuff that I would eat before or stuff that I would cook for the family, but I just use the ingredients now that have been approved for me. A little bit of story time, you guys. So anyway, when I got my list of foods, I started substituting what was on my no-no list with stuff I could have. So for example, I started drinking tea instead of coffee. I started having turkey instead of chicken. I started having like almond milk instead of regular milk. Those are the substitutions that I made, and I had to look far and wide to find ones that I like. So CK has a question is, was it expensive? Yes. To me, it's worth it. But just to answer your question directly, it was about $1,200. Now, for where I'm going, and it might be more than that by the time people watch this video, but for me to be able to get that information, I would pay that 5 times over, and I'll explain to you why. But it was, $1,200 plus. I bought, like, you guys seen the protein powder, some optional stuff, but I brought some extra stuff. But it was a one-time fee. I'm coming, CK. I saw your comment. But hey, I'm just here to keep it real with you guys. It was a one-time fee, and it's basically like lifetime access. So for me, that's helpful because not that I stop and start, but if I'm going on vacation, I'm going to eat what I want to eat. I know I'm going to feel it, but then I can get right back. One of the things that I love, I'm just looking, like, if I'm out at a restaurant and I'm not sure. Now I'm good because I've done it 3 times or 3 years, but I could take a picture of the menu and send to my specialist, and I can ask her, I don't know what to eat, help guide me. Or if there's a new ingredient that I want to try, I'll take a picture of the box or the nutrition panel, and she'll be like, no, it has this, or yes, you can have it. So that's just to answer your question. But here's something that you can try. There are tests that you can do at home. I know Everlywell has like I think it's a finger stick. You can order that one online and mail it in. And there may be others. I've also heard some people can get tested at their doctor. So you can go to your doctor and ask for, a full, you know, nutrition panel or something like that. And you may find out maybe it's covered under your insurance. I did pay for mine using, what's it called? HSA? Yeah, so when you have benefits and you have the health savings account, so I didn't pay like out of pocket, I used my HSA account. But so a little bit of a sidebar, but so now in year 3, I get tested once a year just to kind of find out, if anything's changed. The punchline is that things have started to normalize off of my list. So before I had like 10 to 12 things. In year 2, I had like 5 things. And then this year, I only have like 2 or 3 things. And so, when I eat the stuff that's off of my plan, if you will, I feel it. But I have the information now. It's like, I'm going to eat that. Thanksgiving is coming, and I'm going to help myself and have seconds. And I know I'm going to feel afterwards, but I'm going to enjoy it for the day. So that brings us to the egg fast, long-winded version of how we got here. But I appreciate the question. I hope that's helpful. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know. So again, the egg fast is something you can do if you just kind of been, and enjoying yourself and you want to kind of reset and restart. I do it once a week. All right. I've got my glass gravy boat. So we've got our eggs here. You guys saw me use these this morning. They come in different colors. I don't know why. Maybe different chickens. I don't know. Organic is supposed to be better. I say use what you have. You are so welcome. That's why I'm here. So on the egg fast, if you wanted to do it, it is 8 or 9 eggs in a day. And then I think like 8 to 12 strawberries in a meal. I only eat 2 meals per day. So after this, I'm just going to be on coffee or tea. But I think I'm going to make a 4-egg omelet. You know what? I'm going to boil some too. I've shown this before, but another little snack that I have. So this right here, this is an egg pod. I think I just bought it from Walmart. You can boil eggs on the stove. Y'all know me and my gadgets. I love it because it looks like a little construction hat. Okay, I'm silly. Sorry, whatever. So this is a great way to boil eggs. And like I said, I've completely changed my snacks. So boiled eggs are something that I'll go ahead and cook and just kind of have like in the fridge or whatever. So if I need a quick snack, I eat like eggs and jerky and protein instead of like granola and chips. All right, so the bottom half, it's 4 pieces. You've got this metal piece. I know, Dottie. See, you like that? I'm so glad that you guys like my sense of humor because this is me. And you know what? Thank you for laughing. So you're going to put a little bit of water into the bottom part here, not a lot, just to kind of like a little layer so that it can steam. It's got a fill line in here, but y'all, I don't read, I just eyeball stuff. All right, as your teacher, reading is important. So I'm not saying I can't read, I just say in the kitchen, half the time I'm winging it. But hey, that's how we learn. All right, so you guys saw inside here, there's 4 little divots for eggs. So I'm gonna put 4 eggs raw inside here. Everybody saying hello to the family. Yep, yep, yep. I don't know, I'm showing it. Can y'all see? If I don't put it on the screen, let me know if you can see each other because I'm stopping to, pass the message. I don't know if I need to do that. All right, so 4 eggs. You guys can get egg cookers, online or wherever. It's just a little hack. So I've got my eggs in here. And then the other half of it, my construction hat, it's got this other little metal piece and then the little cone part. So they just fit into each other. Thanks, Dottie. Y'all, I am not a professional and this is not a cooking show. This is just me in my kitchen bringing you guys along. So thank you, Dottie. Dottie from the UK. I love London and all of that. Okay, eggs. So I'm not going to eat all of these, but I'm just going to show you guys while I make my omelet, a snack that I make or just kind of making this stuff before I'm hungry so I have some stuff that's grab and go. So you're going to put this over the top and seal the egg cooker. Sorry, a piece of hair or something. All right. So you put it on and then it's got these little flaps on the side to kind of lock it in place. Okay, there we go. So you lock it in place and then you just put it in the microwave. You just put it in the microwave. I think for like hard boiled, it's like 8 minutes, medium boiled, 7 minutes, soft boiled, 6 minutes. So I'm gonna do like 6 minutes and then I'm gonna leave it in there because it'll continue to cook, but maybe I'll do 7 because I'll show you guys this little gadget. And again, it's called the egg pod. Completely optional. Y'all can cook eggs on the stove. So. All right. So I wanted to get rid of this whole carton of eggs. So now I have 4 left. I'm just making those in case I wanted a little snack earlier. I'm still sipping on this apple cider vinegar. Whew. From this morning. Whew. I'm going to show you my other beverage. Let me start by cracking my eggs. Hope everyone is doing well. I don't know if it's just me, but these organic eggs, like the shell is tougher, and I've heard that that means like a healthier, better egg. I don't know. Use what you have. These might have come in the giveaway box, and I got more giveaway box stuff that I'll show to you guys. All right. So I've got my 4 eggs in the gravy boat. You can use a bowl, just something that you can whisk it in. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm thinking of something. Okay, I was going to salt them, but since we're family, y'all can clown me if you want to. But I found this spicy sprinkle. It's from Church's Fried Chicken, and I can't have Church's Fried Chicken. So it's like a spicy, I don't know what it is, but this is what I do. Like I find random things. I'm like, I'm gonna put it in my eggs and see. Um, I think it's got like paprika and whatever. You could just do regular salt, but I've done that before. So I'm gonna put the whole thing in here. So this would be your salt. I like it on fried chicken, but obviously I'm not eating fried chicken. Here we go. Obviously there's some pepper in there. Sometimes you just want like the fast food experience. So I can't have the fast food, but like I'm trying to think like whatever. Like you could, figure it out. Thank you, Dottie. I appreciate that. All right. So you guys can see here my eggs, and I've got that layer of seasoning on the top. So I'll get some of that fast food savory. So now I'm going to beat my eggs into in the gravy boat. I'm keeping it on the counter because I don't want to make a mess. Usually when I do this, I only do about 2 or 3 eggs, but since I've got 4, so with the French omelet, you want to beat it well. You want to make sure that when it pours, it's basically all yellow. You want to make sure that you don't have like the clear stuff that's going to be like white in the omelet. So I'm just using my chopstick. All right. I'm going to come back and keep beating it. So far, so good. Again, just eggs and salt. I don't have to watch salt. If you have to watch salt, then use the seasonings that you can have. I have to watch sugar, but not salt. All right. So in my skillet, my beautiful nonstick skillet that has no markings, I'm going to put my goat's butter in here. Let me get the one that y'all can actually read. See, I just got this out. I buy this stuff in bulk. You guys have seen it before. This is the Delamere goat's butter. Dottie, you're from the UK. This is a UK brand. I don't know if you can see your little Union Jack right there. So let me know if you've heard of Delamere. I got this at Whole Foods. I'm in the Atlanta area. I got this at Whole Foods. You can also get it online at a deli called Caputo's, Caputos. And they ship for free on ice over like 40 or 50 bucks. So if you can't have dairy, this goat's butter has been a life saver for me. It looks like butter, it cooks like butter, it gives me the butter experience. All right, so I'm gonna get a knife. All right, maybe my janky stove will work, but I'm gonna put like, pretty healthy pat of butter. Show you guys what I have. So butter in the pan. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the stove. Now here's the thing with the French omelet, because you have to work quickly. You turn on the stove, and the butter obviously is going to start melting. So it will melt down, and then it will start to foam. And that's when you want to pour your eggs in, because it goes from melted to foamy to burnt pretty quickly. Anybody who saw my toffee, you see that happen. So when it's foaming, then I'm going to pour the eggs in. And then while I'm pouring the eggs in, I'm going to use the chopstick to continue to beat them in the skillet over the butter. And what that does is that introduces air into the eggs, and you get these nice little creamy curdles of air that kind of give you the cheesy experience. Ooh, hungry. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to cook it to the bottom has set, but the inside is kind of jiggly. And then you roll it into itself, and it continues to cook kind of like in its burrito form. Sometimes my burner works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm going to go ahead and put this down. All right, so I've got my stove on like a 6, which is a medium high. And I'm going to continue to beat these eggs. I don't know if you guys can see at the top, it's still got a little bit of the egg white separated. You want to get it as homogeneous as possible. So, CK, I understand, trust me. But, oh, I didn't tell you, there's more to the story. But for me, it's an investment in my health. It's completely changed the way that I live. Um, and I finally found something that I can maintain. Because, like I shared with you guys, and anybody who's struggled with weight, any diet or anything you do that's temporarily, once you get once you get off it and you go back to eating your old foods, the weight's going to come back on. So for me, the substitutions have been something that I can live with. All right, you guys see how the butter is nice and foamy and melted? Now we're ready to pour. I'm gonna put it back on and let it sizzle. I'm just beating my eggs, and I don't have my camera over the stove yet, but it's coming. Somebody's working on that for me. I know, kind of violent, sorry. But if you guys can see around the edges, see how it's set at the bottom? And then you see how I almost have like a lumpy, kind of curdly, kind of scrambly, jiggly center. Now is when we stop. Let me turn off the stove. All right, so now what you do is I'm going to use one hand to lift up the skillet. And I'm going to get a spatula and go around, and you want to kind of fold the omelet into itself. I'll show you. All right, I'm very excited. Usually it goes really fast because I only do 2 eggs at a time. But again, this is what we have. So I'm going to go around with this like silicone bendable just to make sure that I get it off of the sides. Okay, so I went around just to get it off of the sides. Now I'm kind of holding the skillet underhanded. I'm going to tilt it up, and I'm going to make one little fold with the omelet and show you guys. So you see right here, I just folded it down. It's hard on my wrist. Oh. So I'm just going to continue to roll it into itself. So you can see the bottom is set, but the inside is nice and glossy. All right. So I'm lifting it up, and I'm just continuing to roll it like a little burrito. Again, this is where if you have a really nice smooth skillet, you see how it's coming up from here? You don't want it to stick, because if you have like a bad skillet or not enough butter, when you go to roll it, some of it will be stuck there and you'll just have these jagged pieces. You want it to be nice and smooth like a little burrito. When you get to the end, that's the hardest part for me, but Trying to get that last little lip. I'll show you guys. Because it's so delicate. I think 4 eggs might have been too much. But this is my last meal. All right. I don't know if you can see. I kind of have like a little double fold there. Whatever. Ooh, kind of spicy. Ooh. Eggs with chicken seasoning. All right. So when you leave it rolled up on itself, what it should look like, again, that underside should be completely done, and on the inside, you'll see when I cut into it, it'll be nice and creamy on the inside. So our microwave is done. You're supposed to let it sit. I'm just putting my hands on it because it is warm, but I'll go ahead and shake it up anyway. All right, so with the egg pod, I'm gonna undo the hinges and take the little hat off. And then I don't know if you can see the steam coming out of there. Carefully take the top off. So you can see inside we've got our 4 eggs that were raw. Now they're done. So the little gimmick of this gadget, and the reason why I bought it, is because, this is going to sound so lame, it helps you peel eggs quickly and easily. Some people struggle with that. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to put more water in to basically halfway to cover the eggs. Then you put the top back on and you shake it really vigorously. And it kind of cracks the shell on the metal part and makes it easy to peel. Again, completely optional. You can do this old school on the stove, but if you don't have a stove, if you're in a dorm or a hotel, this might be helpful. All right, so hopefully you can see I've added water to our eggs. Putting the top back on. And then you shake. I'm gonna do it over the sink. Now I'm gonna open it up. And if I've cooked the eggs well enough, let's see what we have. I kind of undercooked the eggs. I'm gonna show you guys. I should have let it sit, honestly. So let me pour out the water. I still had one that was a little soft. But here's what's supposed to happen. Do you see how it kind of cracked the shell on the egg? It just gives you a good start so that you can easily peel eggs. These I only did for 7 minutes, but if I had let them sit in the microwave like you're supposed to after it goes off, then they continue to cook and then they hold their shape better. But it just lets you easily peel eggs. So sometimes, my point is this. You don't need the gadgets, but my point is this. This is something that I'll do. Let's say I've got a busy day, with meetings planned, or I'm going to be running errands. I'll go ahead and cook my boiled eggs down so I can have them. I'll just rinse it off. Grab and go. I'm going to try one. I like eating them when they're warm. I don't know if y'all like warm or like fridge cold boiled eggs. I like them with this Himalayan black salt, completely optional. I just got Himalayan Honolulu. I got it from Hawaii. It's just a little contrast in color. Again, completely optional. You can use table salt, but I'm just getting a pinch of this and I'm putting it on my egg. Looks like pepper, but it's salt. Mmm. 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 Okay, I'm gonna finish. Mmm. 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 As you guys can see, I don't know what I was going to say. All right, the only other thing I'm eating with my eggs, if you guys were on this morning, you saw that I have these strawberries, and I'll show you my beverages. Fresh is best. If you can't get fresh, I had a big bag of frozen strawberries, and I shared with you guys a hack. I'm not eating all of these. I'm going to portion them out. A hack for always having fruit on hand. You can pour them into the prep containers frozen, and then sprinkle them with the sweetener of your choice and let them thaw. And then you get like, you know, they're not as plump and firm, but you can have, a fruit option that's not like canned with the extra syrup. So again, I'm eyeballing. If you were eating fresh strawberries, it would be like 8 or 12 per meal, just to give your body protein and, I don't know, fruit. So I'm having this big old cup, no whipped cream, no anything extra on my egg fast. All right. So let me plate, and then I'll show you guys what I'm drinking today, give you a couple extra tips. My omelet's kind of big, so it's like, eh. I've heard people do this for multiple days. I couldn't do it. I like variety in my food, but this does get the weight, the scale to start moving again. All right, so I've got my French omelet. I'm going to try and move it onto the plate nicely. Eh. All right, it's a little wet, maybe because of the seasoning, but if you guys can see here, so it's all yellow, which just means I beat my egg pretty good. I'm gonna cut into it, and it's not brown like an American omelet because we didn't let the butter brown. For the proper French omelet, all you use is salt, but I was being extra, so I'm gonna have some strawberry. And then I'm gonna cut into this omelet. I'm not taking a picture, it's not that great, but this is what I'm eating. I don't know if you guys can see on the inside, it's still kind of creamy. Hey, it's eggs. All right, beverages. I don't know if you have Panera Bread in your area. There's a coffee shop close to me. They have a subscription service that I'm a part of. It's $10 a month, $9.99 for unlimited beverages. So this is an iced coffee with almond milk or what's left of it, but I order all of my beverages unsweet. And then I had this in the car, the Skinny Syrups Vanilla Flavor Burst. And literally, I put that in here, whether I'm getting a hot beverage or a cold beverage. One of the things that I'll share with you guys, like I said, I don't count calories. But one thing that's interesting, if you are in fast food, like drive-through or whatever, try to place your order through the mobile app. I've noticed, sometimes when I'm out with the kids or even when I'm eating it, the pictures that they have on the drive-through are always like the biggest portion, the most expensive, the stuff that they want to sell to you guys. You can customize a lot of stuff, and they may have some items that are that they can make for you, but that aren't on the board. For example, like Chick-fil-A, you can substitute, grilled chicken if you want instead of the fried. And the other thing that I like about using the apps, it really reveals as you're building your meal how much calories and sugar, if that's something that you count, is in there. So, for example, y'all know we spend a lot of money, and some people drink a lot of calories with this. This iced coffee with almond milk, when I placed my order in the app, was 35 calories. I don't even want to know if this was like a Starbucks super fruity with all that stuff. Those things, sometimes they're enough calories as a meal. My flavor bursts are zero sugar, zero calories. So that's just something that's what worked for me. You know, I've talked to you guys, beverages and condiments are a huge place where you can make changes and maybe get some weight off if you want and still eat the foods that you like. All right, speaking of food, I'm going to go get the food box and then we're done. They gave me multiple of these, y'all, so I gotta get rid of them. So lame, I know. So, because I have nothing better to do, one of the things that I like to do is to pick up the food giveaways from the local churches. Um, Felt like I had an eyelash. If you've heard this story before, apologies. But all my life, I've worked. I don't qualify for any benefits. I'm grateful I'm able to provide. Um, Another thing that I do in my home, I'm an Airbnb hostess, and so I rent out my in-law suite. And I had a lady stay with me in the beginning of the pandemic, and she went to volunteer at this local church. And when she came back from volunteering, she was like, "I brought this for you and the boys." And I looked at it, I'm like, "What is that?" And it was a box of food and produce and all this. And I was like, "What's going on?" Excuse me. Well, apparently, a lot of churches have partnered with local food banks, and they have food giveaways on different days of the week. Literally, you just drive through the line, they open your trunk, put the box in, and then you're on your way, zero contact. And so I started looking into this, one, being nosy, I'll be honest, because a lot of the stuff, I can't eat, but I do like to go through it and just see what they're giving away. One, when I get ingredients that I don't have to pay for, that can spark some of my creativity for making new recipes. Because if it doesn't go well, then I'm like, well, at least I didn't pay for it. Two, I have neighbors that are seniors. Some of them don't have transportation, or they're, I don't know, can't drive or whatever. Some of them, the grandkids are dropped off unexpectedly. They have extra mouths to feed. So it's kind of like a little Meals on Wheels thing that I do. So I have like a list of people, and sometimes people just don't want to ask for help, but they're struggling. And so I'm happy to pull up and show my face. And because I have an SUV, they put like 3 of these boxes in there. So I'll go through, I'll see what they have. I may keep 1 or 2 items and then I give the rest away. All right. So in this box today, I think these are some type of greens. I don't know if they're collards or turnips. I'm not really into these type of greens. I prefer spinach, but I know sometimes people, really love cooking these down and, doing other things with them. So I got multiple bags of these in my trunk. And then I got multiple of these boxes. I'm going to open it up and we'll do a little unboxing. So lame, but I enjoy it. We've all been through this situation together. And, when the kids are home and they're just eating more, sometimes people need the help. So you can check in your area if there are churches and other services that have the, food bank giveaways. If this is what I think it is, I almost said I need to place an order for apples because I'm out of apples. Let's see. They tie these bags and I don't like to rip them. So that's something I do to be sustainable. Yes, I use plastic straws, but I make sure to save these plastic bags, use them for trash can liners or whatever else. So I'm very delicately opening this up. Oh my goodness, I'm excited, y'all. Look, a whole bag of apples. So lame. But this saves me from having to buy apples. I don't know what kind these are, if they're Gala. It doesn't matter, they're Freela. So I'm gonna get a nice bowl and these are gonna go on my counter. See, what a surprise. All right, there's more in here. That's fun. Usually I can have like 10 or 20% of the stuff they put in here. Like, I'm not going to go get them, but they also gave me like some TV dinners and stuff like that I can't have. But you never know. You never know. There's seniors in your area that, you know, could use some help. Ooh. Yellow squash. I'm not going to keep these, but you guys saw the recipe where I did the squash lasagna on our last cook along. If anybody's interested in doing a cook along with me, please let me know. The cook along is basically like you pick whatever you want. It can be something that I've made or something that you like to eat. I'll bring you up on the screen. You make the full flavor version and I make the substitute version. But this bag, nice. This bag has squash and it also has tomatoes. I don't need a whole bag full, so I'll probably keep just a couple tomatoes because I could have used them in my quesadilla or a burger. But for squash, we sliced this with a vegetable peeler into thin sheets and we made a lasagna using the squash ribbons as the pasta noodle. At least I did. So that's a great way. Somebody was asking how you can incorporate more veggies. I don't know if it was you, Dottie, but you can use them, as substitution. So we've got squash, tomatoes, collards, apples, and I think there's some TV dinners and stuff, but that's it. But that's a really good, really good find. I think also they partnered with some like farmers markets maybe that, don't want the food to rot or spoil. So I'll just keep a couple tomatoes and then I'm going to give away the rest. Let's see. I think that was all I have for you guys. Today's kind of boring because I'm doing my egg fast. Lord says, can I cook dinner? What do you want for dinner? I'm going to wash my hands. I love to cook. Maybe you guys toss out some meal ideas and then I'll let you know what I would make as a substitute. Just cleaning up. Or what did you guys eat today? I do love to cook and I love to cook for others. I'm just checking to see, okay, Lord, I don't know if you had a specific request. What would y'all do with the ingredients, with the yellow squash, with the tomatoes? Ooh, here's a snack. Excuse me. If you like tomatoes, and you can have tomatoes. If you like pizza and Italian flavors, get a tomato, preferably a large like beef steak slicing tomato, and then you want to cut it. You want to cut it across into like tomato slices, like you would put on a burger. I would probably cover this with foil, but you want to put your tomato slices flat on the baking sheet, or this is an air fryer tray for me. Excuse me. And you want to Get any shredded cheese that you can eat. Y'all know I would be using goat's cheese, but you can do Parmesan is nice because it crisps up well, but you can do any cheese of your choosing on top of the sliced tomato and then sprinkle with oregano. Okay, I don't have oregano. You could use something like this, Italian seasoning. So literally just tomato, cheese, and oregano. And then you put it underneath the broiler. And so you have your tomato slices, your cheese starts melting and getting bubbly, and then you have this, Italian seasoning or oregano, and then you take it out maybe like 3 to 5 minutes, not long at all, just enough for the cheese to melt and get golden brown. It's so good. I can't eat it today, but maybe one of these days I'll make it for you guys. That's a great snack. Whoever was asking about that, how can you incorporate more veggies? That's a great way. You just have to find a way to either use them as a vehicle to eat stuff that you actually want, like the squash lasagna, that can be your pasta substitute, or, use them, cook them in a way that you actually want to eat them. So the tomato slices, cheese, oregano, just those three ingredients underneath the broiler, 3 to 5 minutes, take them out. So good. All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Just putting everything away. Then I'm going to make my giveaways. Make my rounds around the neighborhood and anybody who, needs food. Food insecurity is real. All right, you guys. Well, I'm not seeing anything. I don't want to just sit here and ramble on. I think I'm done for the night. I can't think of anything else because this is my last meal. I'm just going to do tea, maybe some coffee. And then tomorrow, Monday, yes, tomorrow, I'll be back. Boys are at their dad, so I'll actually be able to keep a schedule and make some breakfast. I don't know what you guys think I should have for breakfast, but I'm gonna be ready to eat after eggs and strawberries. All right, you guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you have your Sunday evening. Thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm Maggie, the substitute teacher. I eat every day, so I get you guys a post every day. Thank you so much for helping me get to 500 subscribers on YouTube. I am waiting on my community tab. That was my goal. Google says that it can take up to a week for it to appear. And when it does, I'll be, putting pictures and polls and different things out there. If you are on TikTok, this is low priority, but I found out from a millennial former guest of mine that's now a friend, TikTok is where it's at. But you can't go live on TikTok unless you have 1,000 subscribers. I think I have 42. I don't know if they're subscribers or followers or whatever. So you're so welcome, Tanya. So if you are on TikTok, I am Maggie, the substitute teacher on all platforms, and that will allow me to continue to grow the channel. So, Lord Lovesmith, I would love to cook dinner. I just don't know what you guys want. So we'll be back in the morning for breakfast around 8:30 Eastern time. But I'll let you guys have your evening. I hope you have a great one. Thank you so much for being here. So goodbye to Instagram and goodbye